So, what if you could actually build a financial system that just runs on autopilot? One where you spend way less time stressing about money and way more time, actually living your life. Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today. A blueprint for automated financial freedom, all inspired by Ramit Sethi's fantastic book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Just think about that for a second. For most of us, money is this constant, nagging, part-time job we didn't ask for. It's all about tracking and budgeting and feeling guilty. But what if we could flip that script entirely? The goal here isn't just a spreadsheet, it's a permanent lifestyle infrastructure that works for you. All right, let's dive right in. We're going to start by blowing up what is probably the biggest myth in personal finance. This idea that to be successful, you have to obsessively track every single penny you spend. This is the absolute core of the entire philosophy. For years, we've been told to win with money, we have to cut back on our lattes. But agonizing over a $5 coffee is a total waste of your brain power. The real path to wealth is focusing on the big wins. These are the $50,000 decisions that have a huge compounding impact on your entire financial life. Okay, now look at this. This is the power of a big win in action. Let's say you make a single 1-hour phone call and negotiate your rent down by just $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year you've saved. Now, what if you invest that money every year? At a pretty standard 7% return, over 30 years, that one phone call turns into over $113,000. That is the kind of leverage we are talking about. So if we're not supposed to be sweating the small stuff like lattes, what should we be doing? Well, this is where it gets fun. It's all about defining what your rich life actually is. This has nothing to do with deprivation. It's about intentional, extravagant spending on the things you truly love. This quote right here is the heart of it all. You figure out what you absolutely love. Maybe it's travel, maybe it's amazing dinners out, maybe it's a specific hobby. And on those things, you spend lavishly, without guilt. And for everything else, the stuff you don't really care about, you cut costs mercilessly, without a second thought. And honestly, this is a total game changer. I used to be that person who'd feel a little pang of guilt going out for a nice dinner, even if I could afford it. But with this system, the money that's left in your spending account is already pre-approved. Your future self has already handled all the important stuff. So when you go out, there's no anxiety, no guilt, just pure enjoyment. All right, so you've got the why. You understand the philosophy. Now let's get into the how. The actual practical infrastructure you need to build to make this automated money machine a reality. Let's be real. Our own brains can be our worst enemies with money. This system is specifically designed to outsmart those instincts. It crushes perfectionism by just getting you started. It eliminates decision paralysis by automating the big choices. And it destroys guilt by giving you explicit permission to enjoy your money after your goals are taken care of. Okay, bucket A. This is your main checking account. Think of it as your guilt-free spending money. After all the important transfers to savings and investments have happened automatically, whatever's left in here is yours to spend on literally anything you want, no questions asked. Next up is bucket B, your savings. This is for your short-term goals, a vacation, a down payment, an emergency fund. And you'll want to keep this in a separate high-yield savings account. Why? Well, first, out of sight, out of mind, so you're not tempted to touch it. And second, it earns way more interest than a regular savings account, so your money grows faster. And now for the most important one, bucket C, your investing account. This is the engine of your long-term wealth. This is what's going to let you retire, travel the world, whatever your big dreams are. These accounts are even intentionally designed to be a little harder to get money out of, which is a good thing. It protects your future self from your impulsive present self. Okay, so you've got your buckets set up. Now for the really cool part. We're going to connect them all with an automatic, sequential flow of money. This becomes the boring, reliable engine that just creates wealth for you over time. This is where the magic happens. Picture it like a waterfall. Your paycheck comes in at the top. Before you can even think about it, whoosh, money automatically flows out to your investments and your savings. You pay yourself first. Then, your fixed costs like rent and utilities are paid automatically. And what's left at the bottom of the waterfall? That's your guilt-free money for the month. It really is that simple. So what should you actually be investing in? For most of us, the answer is wonderfully boring. Low-cost index funds. Think of an index fund like buying a tiny slice of the entire stock market, like the S&P 500. You're not trying to pick winning stocks. You're just betting on the long-term growth of the economy as a whole. It's simple, it's diversified, and it's a proven way to build wealth. And this is where it gets really mind-blowing. Let's say you invest just $500 a month. Over 30 years, your total contribution is $180,000. But thanks to the power of compounding, you could end up with nearly $600,000. Get this, $420,000 of that is pure growth. Your money literally made more money than you did. All right, let's put this all together. To make sure this system works and truly lets you live guilt-free, we use a simple set of percentages as a guide. We call it the conscious spending plan. So how much should go into each bucket? Think of these as flexible starting points. Roughly 50 to 60% of your take-home pay goes to fixed costs. That's rent, utilities, things like that. At least 10% goes straight to investments. Then 5 to 10% for your savings goals, and that leaves a solid 20 to 30% for your guilt-free spending. Fun money! Now, I want you to really hear this. The other numbers can flex a bit, but that 10% for investing, that's your sacred number. It is non-negotiable. Think of it as the most important bill you pay each month. It's the bill you're paying to your future self. Make it a priority, always. So once you've got this core machine humming along on autopilot, there are some really powerful, high-leverage moves you can make to pour gasoline on the fire. And this brings us right back to that big wins philosophy. Want to take things to the next level? Here are a few things to focus on. First, negotiate your salary. It's the #1 way to get more money flowing into your system. Second, call and negotiate your recurring bills, cable, internet, insurance. You can save hundreds, maybe thousands, forever. Third, get on the same page with your partner about money. It's crucial. And finally, use credit cards strategically for the rewards, but, and this is a big but, always pay them off in full automatically. We've covered a ton of ground, and I really hope you found this breakdown helpful. If you did, do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe, and maybe share this with one person you know who's ready to take control of their financial life. You know, when you really boil it all down, the entire system comes down to this one simple, beautiful formula. You build the right habits, and then you use automation to lock them in place. The result? True freedom. You make the hard decision once, and the system handles it for you forever.
And that really leaves us with one final question. Once this powerful system is up and running, your biggest challenge will be to just leave it alone, to trust the plan you created. So you have to ask yourself, how much trust are you willing to place in the automated future self you designed? Think about that.